Waiting for the referee's whistle. He's just checking with his officials, and Exeter City will kick this match off. Referee blows his whistle and we're underway, and the ball is played back to Dean Moxey in the middle of the Exeter half. Immediately swung out far to that left hand side, and MK Dons have the ball. They tried to whip it through the middle onto the front runner. They've kept possession, but it was interrupted just for a second as they tried to move the ball quickly. And here's Martin for the Dons, knocks it inside into Houghton, back out to Martin on the right, tries to put it down the channel, intercepted by Craig Woodman, headed straight back by the Dons, back into the Exeter half, up go the heads. In the end, it comes off Archie Collins and it goes out for an MK Dons throw, which they take straight away. Houghton swings the ball across the park towards the corner, far corner of the penalty area, Exeter City penalty area, but in the end no real problem for Christy Pym as he mops up early. And Pym just takes a moment, awaits his teammates to move into position up the field, and he kicks right-footed from his hands deep into the MK Dons half. The ball is cleared straight up into the air, down it comes, headed down by David Wheeler, the former Grecian. Now it's Harley for the Dons. I have to keep checking myself to remember who they're playing for. As the ball is played back, the goalkeeper just quickly taps the ball out, put under pressure by three Exeter forwards. They've got themselves into a little bit of trouble there, MK Dons, needlessly. Here's Fort, pushes it wide to the left-hand side for Exeter. Martin sends the ball in quickly, headed away by MK Dons as Exeter were trying to get bodies into the box, and now the Dons will try and move it forward up towards Gilby on the left-hand side. Gilby going up against Collins. Gilby runs it, goes past Collins, but hits it too far forward and is intercepted by Dara O'Shea, and the Grecians get the ball back. Sweeney swings it back down the line, chested down by Dons' Cargill. Cargill knocks it back. The Dons have possession deep inside their own half. They kick it long forward back towards the Exeter City half, but the Grecians intercept, and now it'll be picked up by Archie Collins, by Lee Martin for Exeter. Martin with a little bit of a step over, corner of the penalty area, just lays it off into Nicky Law. Out this left-hand side, Woodman back into Martin again. Martin gets to the byline, tries to get his crossover, intercepted by the Dons defender. Exeter City get their first corner.
This is already in the first 5 minutes, the pitch just seems to have opened right up. I think Exeter was saying before the game that they need to up the tempo, I think, at home, and I think that's what they've done. MK Dons have been playing around at the back there, and Exeter have seen that and pushed really high up, and they've managed to get a good spell of possession to get a corner out of it in the early stages of this game. Let's see what they can do.
So Lee Holmes goes over to take this corner on this near side. He's got Law short, Law into the corner of the penalty area, shot from the edge of the box, comes off shins, goes out for a second corner to Exeter City.
Yeah, there's well work there between the three of them. Nicky Law playing it out to Archie Collins on the edge of the box, who's unmarked. Maybe there's an opportunity for him to do exactly the same thing, but he's going to put it straight in now.
Well, it comes again, they take it short, in comes Holmes. Holmes lays it off to Collins, similar position, tries to get the shot in, it's blocked that time, and the MK Dons clear it away. Exeter though get bodies into the ball, and Woodman clears it straight up into the sky. It's headed back into the air again by the Dons, nod down by Collins, away by the Dons again. Neither side getting the possession, although in the end it's now Exeter who have the ball on the ground, and Woodman tries to play it to the left-hand side, although unfortunately his diagonal ball, it just fell between players and in the end rolled out harmlessly for a throw on this near side. But really bright start.
Absolutely, from both teams, you know, they're both trying to get the ball down and play football at a higher tempo. Exactly the kind of that's befitting of this atmosphere in this first 5 minutes of this game.
So the ball is back in the Exeter half, and it's nodded forward by Watson of the Dons, headed away by Woodman of Exeter, chested down by the Dons and flicked down the right-hand channel. And Chukwuneke thought of going for it, but in the end it just went out of play for a throw. Woodman will take it for Exeter, deep in his own half. He's looking up the channel, but he hasn't taken his throw yet, looking for options from his teammates. In the end decides to go up the channel. Too long for Fort, kicked straight back by the Dons, by Martin. There's a lot of Martins kicking around today on both sides, making it. Got to think who you're talking about. Of course, Russell Martin playing for the MK Dons. It's going to be an indirect free kick to Exeter City for an offside. So Christy Pym, the former under-20s international, gets ready to take the kick for Exeter. Right-footed, drives the ball down the field towards Fort, headed away by the MK Dons. Collins knocks it forward again. Fort tries to nod it in towards the edge of the penalty area, scooped away by the Dons, and now Watson will come forward, and Watson will spread it out towards that left-hand side into Lewington. Lewington up towards the halfway line, plays the ball up the channel. There's a flick back, and Lewington again, he's tripped needlessly, I felt there, by Piers Sweeney, and the referee's going to go over, and I suspect he's going to reach for a card.
Yeah, deservedly so. It was a cynical foul. He knew exactly what he was doing there, Piers Sweeney. To be fair, it was great play there by Harley, just putting a flick around to Lewington, who overlapped him, and he was having a 10-15 metres free space to be able to drive into. I mean, you could say it was a good foul to give away, but that's a dangerous yellow card to get in such an early stage of the game. He's now going to go up against a very tricky player in Harley for the rest of the game without getting booked. A good free kick to give away, but not a great booking to get at this stage in the game.
Well, it's the Irishman's 4th booking of this season as the Dons get ready to take this free kick. They move a number of players up. Ball is swung in. Half headed away by Exeter, drops to the edge of the penalty area. Up they'll jump for it again. Headed away by the Grecians. Fort tries to get into the mix in the middle of the Exeter half, but the Dons win the ball. Lewington doubling back to keep possession. Just knocks the ball inside in towards Russell Martin. Back out to Lewington on the left-hand side. Lewington chips it long. Headed away by O'Shea of Exeter, but it will go out forward. Throw in on the far side. 6 minutes gone. Exeter 0, MK Dons 0. Although it's been a bright start. Both sides, although not having proper chances, clear-cut chances on goal, have certainly made it entertaining in these opening exchanges. Woodman has it now in the left-back position for Exeter. Pushes it forward in towards Nicky Law near the halfway line. Back to Woodman. Woodman into the middle. Now it's with Collins. Collins takes it into the centre circle, along the ground. Nice passing from Exeter. There's a foul given to Exeter just outside the centre circle when Jake Taylor went down. Law will take it, takes it quickly in towards Taylor. It's pushed out wide. Exeter City now. A little bit of a skip over, a low ball in towards Nicky Law just inside the penalty area. This could be an opportunity to cut the ball back. It's fallen. Fort tries to flick it back! And Exeter City take the lead through Nicky Law. Fort managed to flick the ball over his shoulder. He found Law about 6 yards out. He's put it past the goalkeeper. Exeter City 1, MK Dons 0.
That's great play there by Exeter. I'm not sure who was out. I think it was I'm not sure who was driving in. I think it was Lee Holmes in the end, driving in. Played a really good ball into the feet of Nicky Law, who played it out wide. Fantastic play there by Fort, who kind of scissor kicked it over his head into a really dangerous area, and Nicky Law ghosting in there and getting his thigh on it in the end, I think it was, to pull it beyond the MK Dons keeper. That's a great reward from that tempo that I was talking to you about before the game, that if you start with that high tempo, you put the visiting team on the back foot. That's exactly what Exeter have done, and they've been confident on the ball, in possession. They've been positive, and they've got the reward with a goal.
Great start for Exeter City. Nicky Law with the goal. That's his 5th this season, and just exactly what Exeter City needed to get themselves in front early in this game against Paul Tisdale's men. Exeter 1, MK Dons 0.
I think, John, Nicky Law has really benefited from this kind of slight change in formation, where you had Lee Martin sitting in behind Jonathan Fort in the last few games that I've seen them play. They've actually switched it, so they're playing the 3 up, and Nicky Law is having more of a kind of central area and be able to ghost and time his runs to get into the box and have more opportunities on goal. So I think Nicky Law, there's no coincidence that he's starting to score a bit more now, because they're using him in the best way possible in that central midfield role, rather than sticking him out on kind of the left-hand side.
Exeter 1, MK Dons 0 is the scoreline. We've had 8 minutes gone here at St James Park, and the Grecians in front. And Christy Pym kicks the ball long downfield. The Dons head it straight back. It drops in the end to O'Shea, who flicks it back towards the edge of the MK Dons penalty area. They knock it away. Archie Collins was to pick it up, but there's been a foul, and it will be given against Jake Taylor. So there'll be a free kick to the Dons 15 yards inside their own half. Exeter kicking into the sun in this first half. Shadows starting to look quite long on the pitch. Can't be easy actually, that, but ball has gone out of play, and Woodman will take the throw for Exeter. Plays the ball in, picks out Collins, and it drops it back Moxie flicks it long forward. Fort tries to head it down, but the Dons have won it back, and they, in the end, pull it back to Russell Martin. Up over the top. Moxie checking his shoulder because he knew he was under pressure, with David Wheeler putting him under pressure. And I think there was a feeling that Wheeler was nudging and pushing Moxie as they were going in there, which is why the Exeter fans have reacted to a former fan's favourite here.
Yeah, but I think that's just a primary example of how fickle football can be. You know, Dave Wheeler had every right to try and go for the ball. Possibly shouldn't have given the little nudge in the back of Moxie there, but that's Dave Wheeler. You know, off the pitch he's an absolute gentleman. What an absolute superstar off the pitch. But on the pitch he's a winner. He wants to win, and you can't blame football players for wanting to try and win and, you know, get that advantage.
I'm sure they'll probably have a little bit of a smile about that later in the bar, being old teammates, but Pym clears it downfield and it comes off an MK head and it goes out for a throw to Exeter City, about 25 yards on this near side. Lee Martin takes it quickly, finds Fort near the corner flag. Fort just puts his foot on the ball and holds it up, draws it back to Woodman. Woodman gets it on his right foot, pulls it, tried to find Martin again on the left, but there was a slide in from the MK Dons. It's gone out for another throw down near the MK Dons penalty area, in towards Law. Law just scoops it forward into Holmes. Holmes couldn't hold off the two men around him, and a trip there from Law. Yeah, free kick.
I think the players seem to be up for this game as much as the fans are as well, and that makes such a difference. When there's that, we was talking about that vibe before the game with the fans, and that does certainly translate onto the players, that's for sure.
Well, here come the Dons. Law getting back into the mix quickly and putting him under pressure to force the ball back to their goalkeeper. Fort was charging in, and so it wasn't the greatest clearance by Lee Nichols, and it's gone out for an extra throw. But Exeter at the moment chasing down everything and forcing MK back into their own penalty area quite a bit. Woodman will take this throw in towards Law. It's pulled back to Moxie. Moxie, left-footed, chips it forward towards the edge of the penalty area, headed away by the Dons. Up in the air it goes again. The Dons head away for a second time. Jake Taylor getting into the mix, but in the end losing out to Aneke, and now the Dons are bursting forward through the middle. Here's Gilby, spreads the ball out towards the left-hand side as they just try and move the ball in. Ryan Harley, you know it's one of the Exeter players, just the old former players by the booze. In comes the cross. What a good cross it was too, but David Wheeler has stuck the ball over the bar.
That's a huge chance actually. A player of David Quality's ability in the air, he should be burying that. Absolutely burying it. Ryan Harley does what he does best. He creates chances, set the ball back to, I think it was Lewington who put a cross in the end. And Dave Wheeler should have done better with that. And to the delight of the fans, the Exeter fans, especially after just pushing Dean Moxie in the back just now, he's missed a golden opportunity to make it 1-1.
Exeter 1, MK Dons 0, and certainly a match full of excitement. And Pym will clear back into the MK Dons half. Fort wins the header. Exeter try and nudge it forward, and Martin did well to get in there and in between the defenders. Bit of panic by MK, and in the end, as Cargill tried to clear it away, he kicked it against the Exeter player, and it's gone out for an MK throw, but it's right deep down by the corner flag, deep in their own half, which Dean Lewington goes over to take.
Exeter certainly have the ascendancy at the moment. MK Dons really being on their back foot, and you kind of really hope that Exeter take advantage of this and try and get one or two more opportunities, carry on being as positive and as brave as they have been. Sharp
intake of breath. Oh, Exeter City have won the ball back just on the edge of the box. This could be an opportunity. Taylor takes a shot. It's blocked. And the MK Dons, and they've got back in there again to win the ball back. They're giving it away cheaply back in there, deep in their own half, the MK players. Now here it is, Law turns inside the box, tries, just couldn't quite get enough on the ball through to maybe find its way through to Craig Woodman. Fort was just in front of it, and the ball is cleared out for a throw.
That's fantastic play from Exeter. I don't think all the time I've commentated, I've not seen a more positive start from Exeter. They really seem to be up for it. They're pressing, they're harassing in that final third, you know, putting MK Dons on that back foot, and it's making such a difference because it's forcing MK Dons into unnecessary mistakes, because that's what happens when you get into players' faces.
Exeter loft the ball back into the MK half, and Russell Martin heads it out wide for left-hand side, and it's cheaply lost out of play by Bailey Cargill. Exeter look to take it quickly, and again, while the Dons are just waiting for the ball to slip out of play, Martin's managed to sneak in there, cause some trouble, and they've won a corner.
It's Exeter. This is all from Exeter not giving up on anything. You know, one of the two of those balls, you know, a few weeks ago they might have just given up and it's going up for a goal kick, but Lee Martin didn't give up, and they've now got something out of it.
So here we go again for Exeter. Holmes will swing the ball into the penalty area. Up they'll jump, it's dropped to Taylor inside the box, who shoots, it hits legs, it goes out for another corner.
You kind of think there's an opportunity for him to have gone first time with his left foot, to have a bit more confidence on your left foot. It's his weaker foot, but if he'd have struck that first time, the opportunity was on for a good clean strike, but he tried to get it on his right foot, shut down early, but they've got another corner.
So Law and Holmes go over for this corner kick on this near side this time. I've been a little bit surprised by some of the sloppy mistakes by their defenders, actually, MK, but we'll maybe talk about that in a minute. Here's Holmes, then, who's going to swing the ball, outswinger this time, but easily knocked away, but only as far as Jake Taylor again. Archie Collins pulls it back to Woodman inside the centre circle. The fans are feeling a bit disappointed there because Exeter were pressing really hard. They had the MK Dons right on the back foot, yet somehow the ball ended up back with the goalkeeper. But they've kept possession, they've kept the run going, and here's Martin. He's got to the byline, he's pulled it back, couldn't quite find Nicky Law though, and it's cleared out for another throw, but it's still sustained pressure from Exeter.
Absolutely. I mean, everything seems to be falling for them at the moment as well, so take advantage, keep being positive, keep getting them on MK Dons, because at the moment their backs are really against the ropes at the moment with MK Dons. They're really struggling to find some sort of momentum in this game.
Throw in to the Dons, and they just play it in short into the channel. Again, one back by Exeter inside their half. Woodman finds Taylor, Jake Taylor. Taylor swings it out left towards Martin. Martin just holds it up for a second, back into the middle, finds Archie Collins. Collins looks around to Holmes. Holmes midway inside the MK Dons half, out wide in towards Pierce Sweeney. Now it's Holmes again. Holmes has taken it out wide. He's got Collins to one side of him. Sweeney waiting on the channel, looks to put the ball in low though. Falls to Taylor on the edge of the box. He shoots! He scores! Exeter City 2, MK Dons 0. Jake Taylor with the goal, and the crowd goes mad.
Again, it's down that right hand side with Lee Holmes being really positive, driving at the MK Dons defenders. He got in an earlier cross. Normally he kind of cuts back onto his left hand side to get that left footed cross in, but he went early with his right foot. The MK Dons had a bit of a basic clearance, really. It was a bit of a mistake from the MK Dons defence. Didn't get the greatest of clearances, ricocheted out towards Jake Taylor, took a great touch, and he didn't seem to get the most cleaning of contacts on the ball, and it kind of really slowly trickled its way in. The goalkeeper seemed completely flat-footed, and just all he could do was watch helplessly as it trickled past him into that left-hand side of the goal. 2-0, what a start from Exeter.
Well, I mean, we up here before this game, we were all wondering just how hard Exeter might find this. I don't think any of us would predict that 17 minutes in, Exeter City will be 2-0 up.
John, I'm not ashamed to admit before the game I actually said that Exeter might struggle today. I'm not ashamed to admit that at all, but I also did say it'd be a high scoring game. So, you know, it's got all the makings at the moment, but I'm so glad to be wrong, to be honest, because they deserve this lead at the moment, the way they're playing.
Ball comes down. Well, MK just haven't really got themselves into this at all. Here's Holmes, and this is the time to make hay while it's like that. As Sweeney swings a huge long ball up to Fort. Fort picks it up on the edge of the box. Neat little turn. Laurie's making a run into the penalty area as well, but in the end it didn't quite work out for him, and the ball just trickled through to the goalkeeper Nichols.
Again, it's that Nicky Law run now. He's got that more of a freedom the way he's playing in the position he's playing with now. But for me, that was the wrong option. You had Lee Holmes really driving down that right-hand side there.
Now this could be tricky. Woodman plays, just could, well, maybe it just enough, but it felt like an underweighted pass to Pym as he had a Neke charging in, but he did just enough to get it away. But I'm sure the goalkeeper wasn't too thankful for that ball, as Houghton across the park in towards Cargill. Cargill pulls it back. Harley, the former Grecian, chips it out towards that left-hand side. Over comes the cross into the box. It's a bit long though, but it will be chased by Ryan Watson. Can he keep it in? No, he can't. Flags up. It's out for a throw.
When you go 2-0 up, it's very easy to kind of sit back slightly. You think, oh, we're 2-0 up. What they need to do is carry on with that pressure, because MK Dons are really struggling at the moment. Exeter, the way they're playing at the moment, with the players that they've got going forward, they could get another couple of goals here if they keep that pressure on, having that confidence to get on the ball. Every single player in that Exeter team seems comfortable and confident on the ball today, and they need to carry that on.
Indeed, and I admit I've been surprised at how much on the back foot this MK Dons team is, because they've got a lot of quality, but at the moment Exeter are doing everything right as Woodman gets ready to take this throw. Woodman throws the ball in, up goes the head of Thought. He's done well. The Grecians they get the throw out of that. I thought it came off the Exeter player, to be honest, but the referee has given it Exeter's way, and up comes Woodman to take the throw in about 15-20 yards into the MK Dons half. Woodman. Welland Rovers 0, Deeping Rangers 1. As the ball is played forward, it drops now, and it's Archie Collins. Collins will shoot from distance, but it's well over the top. He leant back, and it's straight out into St James Road.
Why not? They're 2-0 up. You know, he's young. He wants to go and make a name for himself. He has got the quality. He's proven his goals recently. But you can see Lee Holmes out there on that right-hand side was absolutely fuming with his decision. He's the best part of 40 yards out. Probably wasn't the best decision in the world. He could have, recycled the ball out to either Sweeney or Lee Holmes, a little bit earlier. But, why not? They're 2-0 up.
Well, the goalkeeper clears his lines, and it drops into the middle of the park. And it's with the Dons at the moment as they try to nudge the ball forward. And they take it over the halfway line on the left-hand side. And at the moment, again though, Exeter challenging and battling and fighting, although the linesman a little bit unkind there to Exeter, and the ball has gone out of play. Elsewhere in this league, it's Grimsby 1, Newport 0, Mansfield 1, Macclesfield 0, Notts County 1, Lincoln 0. Did you hear that? Notts County 1, Lincoln 0. A little bit of a surprise. But Exeter City will have a free kick. And just waiting a moment while they get the ball into position. Elsewhere, Chelsea leading Huddersfield 1-0, and Everton losing 1-0 at home to Wolves in the Premier League. Referee goes over and just has a few words, and Pym gets ready to take the free kick for Exeter. 21 minutes gone, Exeter 2, MK Dons 0. Pym takes a moment, clears downfield, aims it at Fort again. Fort gets the header, but it's high and difficult for him, and it just runs away and through to the goalkeeper, Nichols.
Yeah, it was a bit too of a straight delivery. That was right down the centre of the pitch, and Fort, can't do any other options really, but to flick that on straight as well. So maybe next time Christian needs to put it on a bit of a diagonal.
Woodman up towards Fort. Nice ball into Martin, and Law makes the run. This is lovely football from Exeter. Law, left-hand side, pulls the ball back off the byline, finds Archie Collins on the edge of the box. Collins knocks it left to Woodman. Woodman to Law. Law receives it straight back again off Holmes. Corner of the penalty for Exeter. Law again, just nudges it through. Martin does well. Martin low cross finds Fort. Fort tries to shoot on the turn, but the MK Dons player gets down to his knees to block it, and they clear. But Exeter will come again. Sweeney to Woodman. Woodman with space coming up towards the edge of the penalty area, knocks it left to Martin. Lee Martin, left-footed cross into the box, cleared away by the Dons.
Tell you what, John, this is as good a start that I've seen Exeter have in a game since I've been doing commentary. In a sort of 2-3 years I've been doing this commentary. They've all seemed to be really up for this. They, as soon as they lose the ball, they're straight on it, like a real top-level team. The way they're shutting down at the moment. Woodman
for Exeter knocks it into the middle. O'Shea along the ground. Picks out Taylor. Taylor spins it left. Finds Woodman again, who's got room. Woodman moving forward on the diagonal, just slows it down for a second, then sends it out to the left towards Lee Martin. Martin draws it back on his right foot. Then he turns, knocks it back into Law on the left-hand side of him. This is all on the corner of the penalty area to Woodman. Back to Law again. Law has the ball. Just waits for a moment, has two defenders tracking him, drops it back to Woodman. Woodman looking for Law again, although that pass wasn't so clear, and that time Alex Gilby did enough to push it away, but Exeter will get another throw. It's still Exeter pressing. Law. It was a MK Dons head though to intercept, and as they try to clear, again Exeter get it straight back again. Collins receives the ball back, always giving it away cheaply, but Dara O'Shea was alive to it and got there first before MK could move the ball in the other direction. And you know, interestingly now, when you see that Aneke's coming back to help out, you sense that the Dons are feeling the pressure at the moment.
Yeah, they're going to be frustrated because they're not seeing much of the ball, and when they do get the ball, they're giving it away cheaply. But that has everything to do with how much Exeter are getting in their faces and how well they're pressing. So they're forcing those mistakes. It's not as if it's just easy mistakes that MK Dons are making. It's because Exeter are really getting in their faces, and that's what they need to do and need to carry on doing for the rest of this game.
Here's O'Shea along the ground. It's caught onside. The flag's gone up. The move was just right, and it put Fort through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but just an inch or so there. The flag's up and it's offside.
Yeah, O'Shea did fantastically well to read and anticipate that ball. Fort made a fantastic run. He actually did 2 runs, went short to go long, but I think O'Shea just took a little bit too long in releasing that ball. He needed to do that a couple of steps before.
Ball is cleared, and Aneke handball, free kick Exeter's way, and the ball has been kicked away. And Jake Taylor has worked with the referee, but Dean Moxey comes over to get the ball ready to take the kick.
But it was a blatant handball that he did there, and for the referee not even to go and have a word, I think is a bit wrong. So if it was in a kind of final third, that's he's trying to cheat to get an opportunity on goal. So I think that's what the crowd were more shouting at, was the fact that the referee didn't even speak to Aneke there.
So it's ball is cleared by the Dons up towards the halfway line. In goes Moxey fighting for it. The Dons managed to swing the ball over to this right hand side. Here's Watson shoves it down the channel. It will be chased, but O'Shea is across it. O'Shea shadows it well out of play and keeps Gilby off the ball and wins a goal kick for Exeter.
Yeah, that was very assured defending. You could see that he read the ball really well. It was clear where the ball was going. O'Shea just come right across from the right hand side across that left hand side and just shepherd him, the player, very easily. I really like the look of O'Shea. He's got all the attributes to be a top centre half. He's physically strong, he's quick, he's comfortable on the ball. I think he's been a fantastic signing.
Yeah, and the on loan player from West Brom has certainly shone here. The ball comes down and in goes the challenge from Jake Taylor. MK Dons keep hold of the ball though, and Watson did well to hold on to it for a second, but finally it was Lee Martin's challenge that put the ball out for a throw. Headed away by Woodman, thumped away, long away by Exeter, deep back into the MK Dons half, and it rolls out of play, level with the edge of their penalty area for a throw, which Russell Martin goes back to take. No, in the end he's going to leave it for his teammate Ryan Watson. Watson throws the ball up the channel. Wheeler tries to knock it on. Aneke, good challenge, and Exeter City win it back. And then player goes down, and admittedly the Exeter player was down near the ground, but Alex Gilby swung his foot. Obviously he's entitled to go for the ball, but I think why some of the Exeter fans weren't happy is because O'Shea's head was near the ground and he went to kick the ball while it was down there.
Yeah, but it was his momentum. He was tripped beforehand, so I think the foul was given before he actually went down to head that ball. But that is dangerous play. He could have easily just pulled out because the foul had clearly been given. But luckily and thankfully, O'Shea is okay. He's up. He's gone up to the final third, ready for this free kick.
So Moxey chips the ball high up in the air. Exeter jump for it. They've managed to knock the ball down. Couldn't quite land for them though, but it's still not properly away. Martin heads it out wide towards Nicky Law down near the corner flag. He pulls it back to Woodman, who's got a bit of time and room, but to Law manages to squeeze the ball in to Martin again. Martin chips the ball in, headed away by the Dons, and there's a good run here from Jake Taylor. He kept on trying to find the space to get the shot in the end he ran into a crowd, but Nicky Law fouls and brings down Ryan Watson, and it's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, the crowd were a little bit disappointed there that Craig Woodman didn't put it in first time. It's Nicky Law worked the ball really well for Craig Woodman to come in a little bit later, set the ball really well for a first time cross, but what they need to realise is that we haven't got the kind of Stockleys of this world anymore that can go in and attack it and dominate in the air. So they need to work those balls into those dangerous areas, be impatient in those wide areas for an opportunity to arise, and that's what happened. That's what has happened throughout this game. That's where they've got their chances from, where the clever play of Lee Holmes and Lee Martin going into Nicky Law ghosting into those kind of pockets, picking the ball up and then getting a low cross in for Fort and other players coming in a little bit later.
Well, while Jake Taylor is receiving a little bit of treatment, the players are taking a chance to run over to the touchline and take a drink. I think that surprised me. I've just been surprised at just how much room their defence has, well, Exeter have managed to find in behind their defence in there, particularly in sort of in the hole round the D on the edge of the penalty area and out wide on this left-hand side near the corner flag.
That comes from just having that fluidity and giving your forward players the freedom to go in that final third wherever they want. You've got Lee Holmes coming over this left-hand side a bit to get involved. Nicky Law coming out from central areas out to wider areas. When that happens and you're playing against clever players that Exeter do have going forward, it's very, very hard for a defensive unit to pick up those players all the time. It relies heavily on communication and having that back four, having the spaces right, and at the moment MK Dons haven't got it quite right.
30 minutes gone, we're on the half-hour mark. It's Exeter 2, MK Dons 0, and the ball is played up towards the Neke, but Exeter again get it away, and Taylor fires it up into the air. Cries of a bit of holding on Fort there by Russell Martin, and Exeter will get a free kick about 12-13 yards inside the MK Dons half, which Law goes over to take. They decide to just knock it short and play on with keep the game going straight away. Woodman back in towards Law. Law looking around to Woodman on this left-hand side along the ground. Nice little back heel in towards Fort. Then through to Law. Law is through. Law shoots, and the goalkeeper makes a great save with his shin.
Absolutely fantastic play there. Nicky Law is having a great game in my opinion at the moment. He's kind of been central and been involved in a lot of Exeter's good play.
Down the other end, there's been an incident down on the corner of the penalty area. The referee has gone over. I have to admit, I glanced away, I was writing a note and I didn't see this.
What actually happened is the ball got played in behind into an MK Don player, and it looked as though the MK Don player handballed it. Christy Pym couldn't quite get there, went to make the clearance, and I think it did ricochet off the MK Don's arm. Maybe the referee just saw that as it was ball to hand rather than hand to ball, and in doing so, I think Christie gave away a foul just on that right-hand side of the box, a yard just on that diagonal from the 18-yard box in a really dangerous area here.
So a free kick then to the MK Dons right on the corner of the penalty area. Every Exeter City with every single player back in the penalty area. In it comes, it's swung towards the goal, it's over the bar, much to the delight of the Exeter City fans on the big bank.
Yeah, those sort of instances when you've got a delivery like that and they just blaze it over the bar is so frustrating from a manager's point of view, from a centre-half's point of view that's run all the way up the other end. If you're going to miss, you want to, at least miss so that you've got other players a chance to go and attack it as well. But to just blaze it over the bar like that, I think that's a real waste. But yeah, getting back to the opportunity of Nicky Law, really, really good play there between the three players. I think it was Law that played it into the striker's feet. Carried on his run, fought with a little flick around the corner. With Nicky Law the way he's playing at the moment, with the quality he has done, probably could have done a little bit better.
Fort knocks it on. He's got Holmes trying to run forward, but it was just a bit too strong for Holmes as it ran off his head, and the goalkeeper Nichols comes out to collect. But again, the keeper's bowled it out quickly, and again the MK defenders finding themselves under a little bit of pressure as the challenge is coming in so quick. There's a ball up over the top. Pym picked the ball up right on the edge of his penalty area. He grabbed the ball above head height. It's not that it was difficult to catch, but he was so close to stepping outside the penalty area there. He kind of probably had to intake a breath to prevent his stomach from slipping outside the line. It was that close. But as the ball is knocked back in towards the edge of the MK Dons penalty area, the visitors will clear their lines. They launch it long out towards this right-hand side, and Dean Moxey clears for Exeter, long back into the MK Dons half, chested down. In comes the challenger Martin. Who did that come off? It came off the Exeter player, so it's a throw. Little bit of professionalism there from Martin. As the player went to take his throw, he just got in his way to slow it down. Now Aneke, he's got a bit of room on the corner of the penalty area. Woodman comes across to try and stop him. He goes inside one, it comes off, there's an opportunity. Oh, but Alex Gilbey was in a great position to shoot on goal, but slipped and didn't connect properly.
Yeah, it just seems to me at the moment all the kind of luck and the momentum is going Exeter's way as soon as I say that.
Well, here's Gilbey. He's done well to keep the ball in play. A high ball into the box. It drops across the box again. But, yeah, it has fallen, and MK Dons still have it. Watson on the corner of the penalty area, looking to get the low cross in. It's blocked by Woodman. Oh, lovely control and skill from Lee Martin. And he finds Nicky Law on the left-hand side. Back to Martin. A cheer with every pass from the Exeter fans as they knock it up forward. Because the thing is, and I don't think it's too rude to suggest this, Exeter City are playing Paul Tisdale's game better than his team.
Absolutely. They're playing with a confidence that I don't think I've seen for a while in Exeter's play. I saw it at the start of the season. Every player seems to be confident on the ball and comfortable. You know, it's easy to do when you're 2-0 up, but you can kind of feel that there's going to be more goals in this game.
Here we go, Lee Holmes on this left-hand side. In the end, just got caught up in legs and couldn't quite get it through, but Exeter still kept possession. I mean, I don't know the stats, but I bet the possession stats are really heavily stacked in Exeter's favour. That's quite a key thing from this first half, I think.
Absolutely, and that does come from pressing high up and getting into MK Dons' faces, because you know, you win the ball back, gives you more opportunity to start playing your football again. 9 minutes to the break, and Exeter are leading by 2-0. And from Nicky Law and Jake Taylor, and at the moment, Exeter looking comfortable in this game. But, Lee Holmes fighting for the ball, and Martin, they're all getting caught up a little bit in themselves, but Exeter in the end, well, almost won it. But as Archie Collins tried to take the ball away from Gilbey, the referee then decided that actually Holmes had fouled initially, and he just held the game up. But now it's with the Dons as they put it up to Aneke, who's being marked by Moxie. He pushes it back in towards Martin of the Dons. Back then to Houghton. Houghton just puts the ball in the box, but it doesn't really cause any harm, and Dean Moxie just sees it safely back. Willingdon deeping 2 in the FA Vase. And it's going to be Pym, who just takes his time as Exeter City at the moment comfortable, long ball downfield, and good challenge again by Taylor to win it back for the Grecians. There's Holmes. Sweeney, who because of Exeter's dominance hasn't had to do much in this game. Ball down the field, and it's over on the far side for a throw to the Grecians. I think the difference between Sweeney not really seeing much of the ball is the player that's playing in front of him. You've got Lee Holmes, is very direct, gets the ball, gets at fullback, so it doesn't really give chance for Sweeney to get involved. Whereas on this left-hand side, Lee Martin's more of an intricate player. It allows Woodman to get up and support him. It allows Nicky Law to come over and kind of make those triangles up. So the reason for that is because Lee Holmes is just more of a quick and more direct player. You haven't got a chance to get around him.
Well, the Dons are now trying to push forward through, and rather cheap free kick. I think the Exeter fans not too sure. Aneke went down quite cheaply, and it's a free kick.
I think, to be fair, Moxie was just a little bit late there and got a knee inside into Aneke's leg there. I think it was a rather late challenge there by Moxie, but I think that was just frustration built up. There's a couple of times where Aneke's been offside and the assistant referee hasn't given it. I think Moxie was just a spillover of frustration for that. Huge
ball down the field, one that Fort chases. The defender puts it across his own goal mouth, and the goalkeeper eventually gets rid of it as Fort chases in. Archie Collins tussles, foul on Gilbey. Oh, the Exeter fans not happy with that. And well,
there's nothing wrong with that at all. There was a little set to between Gilbey and young Archie Collins there. The referee gave the foul. Jake Taylor just come a split second after the foul was given and made a good challenger. He had every right to go in for it, and Gilbey just got a little bit frustrated, obviously probably from being 2-0 down, and just shoved in a bit of handbags, and the game can then continue.
So the Dons have it just inside the Exeter half, and the ball is pulled back, chip it forward. O'Shea will just watch, although there's a run coming. Pym in the end gets rid of it as Wheeler was darting in at pace but couldn't quite get there in the end. And Exeter clear their lines. Ball's back in the MK half as Cargill chips forward. Up goes Aneke. He's done well to get the ball down. He got his shot away. Don't think it was quite on target, but he did well to get the shot in, but doesn't really trouble Pym.
I think Christy Pym was kind of trying to get there to prevent it from going off, because I think it was going to. The final touch came from Moxie, and that's the reason why it looked as though he was panicking, but he was trying to avoid giving away a corner. But yeah, they've not really threatened a lot, have they, MK Dons? They've not really offered much going forward.
Thought, literally one end of the pitch to the other from the goalkeeper. Thought darting in on the 6-yard box. MK have just managed to get it away, but Exeter's 5th corner.
For me, that's using Jonathan Thought at his best when he's getting in behind defenders.
Here's Holmes. Oh, he just tried to squeeze it through to Nicky Law. Didn't quite make the gap, but Exeter have still got the ball as they knock the ball back into the box again. Half cleared again by the Dons, and that time Aneke clears. In goes Law, and they half got their foot on it. They've won it back though. Here's Law. Law looking around for space, finds Sweeney over on the far side. It's just pulled back. Moxie, they decide not to run it forward and just give the players chance to just position themselves a little bit better as they move the ball up. In towards Woodman, that wasn't such a good pass. Looking for Fort, chested away by the Dons. They launch it long back down into the Exeter City half. Up they jump for it. That has to be a foul.
That has to be a booking as well. He's led with his arm. Dave Wheeler is an honest player, but the momentum and the way he went up with his arm has caught the player there right in his head. I'm surprised the referee hasn't even thought about giving that as a booking, because I think for me that's dangerous play.
Yeah, well, Collins, he's got up, he's okay, and the referee is going to go over and talk to Wheeler. He hasn't reached for the card yet, but he's having words.
I think if anything happens now, however big or small with Wheeler, I think he will see a yellow card. I don't like saying for players to get yellow cards, but Wheeler does need to be careful now. He's treading on a kind of thin ice.
So Pym will get ready to take the kick for Exeter, and he chips the ball into the MK half, headed away. Up goes Woodman, nods it forward, knocked away by the Dons again, flicked up into the sky. It'll come back down on the halfway line. Exeter win it back. Woodman has it. Woodman, who didn't quite find the pass back to Moxie. They're quick to take it, MK Dons, but again O'Shea is across to cover so well and so quick. He's gone down. I think Aneke caught him. It wasn't both going for the ball. Happened, but O'Shea's gone down, and the referee's gone over just to check he's okay. It'll be a throw-in.
I think the worrying thing there with O'Shea is that he's leant across rather than getting a whack. It seemed as though that there might be a kind of a slight twist in his knee there, but O'Shea anticipated that ball really well. What I like about him, he's strong, he's quick, he's good on the ball, but he reads the play really, really well, and all of those attributes added together, he's got the makings of having a really good career. He's a very, very good player. Well,
he's currently down on the ground, receiving some treatment. We'll watch with anticipation to see just how bad this is.
Yeah, he's gone in with his kind of right hand, right leg to make the challenge, and as he's done so, his left leg was underneath the weight of it, and I think he just kind of landed on that left leg a little bit. Yeah, the physio's kind of giving him that test that you do to the ligaments of the knee. I remember when I did my knee, that's exactly what happened, and it wasn't the best pain in the world, but he seems to have passed that test really well. He's got up, he's done a little jump, tested it. I'm sure he'll be okay.
Yeah. No, I've had my anterior cruciate ligament done. I wouldn't be doing a jump like that if I'd done that.
Wouldn't.
It's so painful. Wouldn't. So no, he seems to be okay now, which is good news. Elsewhere, Premier League, Tottenham 1, Newcastle 0. That was from earlier today. Chelsea 1, Huddersfield 0. Crystal Palace 1, Fulham 0. Everton, Wolves 1-1. All the other games goalless. So we're back underway, and the Exeter side have the ball at the moment in the shape of Sweeney, who launches it long towards Fort again. Couldn't quite keep hold of it though, Fort, as the legs went in, and MK Dons have the ball back as they push it up the channel. Harley move the ball around and find Russell Martin, but it's all in their own half at the moment, this from the Dons. Russell Martin, he's given it away cheaply, and he's clipped Lee Martin. Well, the referee has said bizarrely, oh no, he's blown his whistle now. He wanted to play the advantage, but I think Exeter didn't really feel there was an advantage because players were coming in too quickly. But Russell Martin properly clipped him, and again I think the Exeter fans feel a book should have come out for that, but it hasn't.
So a lot of credit needs to be given to the coaching staff and the manager, because their tactic is to press very high. As soon as the back players of MK Dons have got the ball, they've got an Exeter player that has sprinted as quickly as they can to shut them down, and that has made the difference so far in this game.
Half time in the rugby, Plymouth Albion 14, Cinderford 0. And latest in the FA Vars, Willand 2, Deeping 2. So there's some of the scores as the half time's coming on, but here still got another 20 seconds of ordinary time, and I think they're going to have quite a little bit added on because of just some delays with injuries, etc. So Woodman getting ready to take a throw. Referee blows his whistle, and the ball comes down the channel. Fort knocks it forward. Tried to be flicked through by Martin, but it's cleared. Woodman sends it forward again. 3 minutes of time allowed, a minimum in this first half. The ball's out of play, throw into MK Dons.
Yeah, it's important that they keep it tight now with only 3 minutes to go, not giving away any silly fouls or making any silly mistakes. Just be nice and solid, see it through to half time.
So Exeter thump the ball back up over the top. It will run all the way through to the goalkeeper, Lee Nichols, and he sends it out quickly out towards Cargill, but it's out of play, and Exeter City will have a throw just inside their own half, and they send it down the channel towards Fort. Fort tried to knock it into the middle, didn't make the proper connection. MK have got the ball, they chip it up towards the halfway line, and Neke brings it down. He's done well to control it. He's got Law chasing him. Law manages to get between him and goal side to Gilby out wide in towards Martin. He pulls it back. This is better from the Dons to Aneke, but he couldn't control it as the ball came in at him at speed, and it runs through and Christy Pym takes it. We've had a minute of time allowed for stoppages in this first half. Exeter 2, MK Dons 0.
Yeah, I can't really remember, John, any kind of clear-cut chances other than that Dave Wheeler header. They haven't really given much away, have they? And I think that's great credit to the way Exeter have played, that most of the play has been in kind of Exeter's final third. I think it's been one of the best first half performances that I've seen from Exeter in a long while.
So they wait to receive the ball back, Exeter, and one of the stewards just hands it to Craig Woodman, and he gets ready to take the throw in, which is about 15 yards inside the MK Dons half on this near side. Woodman drops it short into Law, back to Woodman. Woodman, first time, comes off the body of Gilby, and the ball falls astray. The Dons have it, and they'll move it forward quickly. Harley beaten off it by Archie Collins, much to the delight of the Exeter fans. And another Exeter player goes down. Lee Holmes has gone down. I was watching the ball, I didn't see that.
So what happened is Lee Holmes just set the ball off to Pierce Sweeney, went to turn, and if Pierce Sweeney would have put a good ball down the line, Lee Holmes would have been free. So the MK Dons player, I'm not sure who it was, brought Lee Holmes down. Bit of a cynical foul, nothing major, but I think Lee Holmes was kind of looking for that, and they've got some good time out of that, getting towards half time. They've slowed the game down now, so all in all it's pretty good. But again, I'm surprised the referee hasn't gone over to speak to the player, because that was a bit of a cynical foul. I
think Nicky Law's just told him as such. He's just had a bit of earache, referee, from Nicky Law. But it's going to be a free kick then, as it comes in diagonally on the corner towards Martin. He does well, lovely touch just down to Woodman. Woodman inside square to Taylor. Taylor didn't quite find the pass back out to the left he was looking for. Harley nudged. Exeter win it back. Now it's with Martin for Exeter. Lee Martin on this left hand side. Martin, corner of the penalty area, back out to Woodman. Woodman looking around, holds it up for a moment, decides to pull it back to Collins. Half time, Exeter 2, MK Dons 0. But I tell you, they have got to be really, really pleased with that first half performance. In my opinion, it is. They played the Tisdale game better than his team.
I think the difference between the Tisdale way of playing, I think they've just probably huddled around the radiators or something.
Yes. Here they come. And MK Dons come out first, and there's the expected boos as they have to defend in front of the big bank for the second half, and they'll be looking into the sun as well. And here come the Grecians. to a rousing cheer. We haven't had an attendance yet, but I mean the big bank looks pretty full, and it's not bad over on the Stagecoach Adam Stansfield stand either. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't think I've seen the Stagecoach side this full. There's still obviously empty seats out there, people still coming in from getting their beverages and whatnot, but yeah, it's just a really good atmosphere today, John. I've been really enjoying it.
And certainly so far, the people that have paid their money and chosen to come to this one, from Exeter's perspective, really have enjoyed a treat, because as we've been saying, this first half has been brilliant, and they played so well, and of course the rivalries are there, so it's one to be enjoyed. But at the moment the referee has just come back out, and Stephen Martin has put another Martin, the referee, has put the ball on the centre spot, and Russell and Ryan Harley, former Grecian, gets ready to kick it off for the MK Dons in the second half. The Dons kicking towards the St James Road end, Exeter kicking towards the Big Bank.
The way they're set up at the moment, John, MK Dons, it looks as though they've gone for a 3 at the back, 4 in midfield and 3 up front. Just as the other commentator, the MK Don commentator, was suggesting before the game, they actually started with a back 4, so this will be interesting to see how Exeter react to this. Well,
it's up to Neke on the edge of the box. He shoots quickly, but he shoots well wide. It's wide of the 6-yard box, and Exeter will get a goal kick.
I think what the worst thing Exeter could do, I think, in this half is try and sit back, because that invites pressure, that invites momentum, and it gets the MK Dons players up. They need to carry on with that high pressing, that high tempo, and not allowing MK Dons an inch in this game. It's hard to do, as I was talking at half time about, can we keep up that level of pressure, that level of fitness, but they need to, and that's what you've got subs for. You can always replace the players that are getting a bit tired.
Well, the Dons send a long ball back to their goalkeeper Nichols, and Nichols launches it upfield, headed straight back by Archie Collins. Second header away by Joe Walsh. Up goes the head of Dean Moxey for Exeter. Head of tennis going on a bit at the moment, and it's knocked into the middle, and Exeter clear their lines back up to the halfway line, and the Dons have possession at the moment as it's pushed forward by Lewington. Now it's with Harley. Exeter win it back, and Sweeney plays it back to Pym, and Pym clears, and the ball goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw in to the Dons. So, a minute and a half gone in the second half. Exeter leading by 2-0. You're listening to it live on BBC Radio Devon as the ball is swung in, and it drops. This could be dangerous though, as the Dons try to find the space to shoot. Legs got in the way. Exeter did finally get enough of a foot on it, although they knocked the ball back in, and Harley's intercepted, and now the Dons will have another go at this as they try and send the ball into the penalty area, but it's cleared, and now Exeter have a chance to try and march the ball up the pitch. But Holmes, it was an awkward bouncing ball, he couldn't quite control it, and the Dons have won it back. Here's Lewington to Gilby on the left hand side. Gilby swings the ball over on the diagonal to the far side of the penalty area. It's found its way through, and it will drop towards the edge of the area. They try to get the shots in, a player goes down, they knock the ball into the penalty box. Exeter City a little bit unsure of themselves there, and an MK Dons player did go to ground in the penalty area, but in the end it's finished up with MK's first corner of the afternoon.
They needed to change something, and we were expecting it to happen because it needed to have changed. I think they're going a bit more direct now. They're getting a bit more joy of Dave Wheeler, as when he was here playing that diagonal ball to Dave Wheeler is such a good asset to have in the team with his aerial ability, and I'm not going to be surprised with lots more diagonal balls towards him.
In comes the cross into the box, they get the header, and they pulled a goal back, the Dons. It was straight in, a header from about the edge of the penalty area, darted into the far corner of the net. It's Exeter 2, MK Dons 1. That is not the start to the second half that the Grecians wanted.
No, but that's disappointing from a defensive point of view. It was a free header from Joe Walsh. He ghosted into the box. It was a great delivery, but he was unmarked. Not a player was kind of within 2-3 yards of him. So just from a basic defensive point of view, I think Exeter should be really disappointed there. But this will be now interesting to see what Exeter are made of, what sort of response they have, what sort of response from the coaching team and the management team on the sideline, what it's going to be.
Yeah, disappointment then for Exeter. That is not how you'd want to start the second half. That will have given Paul Tisdale's team a bit of a lift. It'd be interesting to see now if Exeter do, as we feared, they might go a little bit deeper to just try and prevent any more of that, but certainly a bit more impetus from MK Dons as they come out in the second half. Exeter 2, MK Dons 1. Joe Walsh with the header to put Dons back in this game. 2-1. Up they go. That came off the arm of Holmes, but the referee has allowed it to go. Gilby swings it over onto the far side, and now they'll go marching forward, the Dons. They're seeing a lot more of the ball already in this second half as they swing it to Aneke, to Gilby on this left hand side. Gilby trying to get it round Sweeney. Gilby holds it up. Gilby pulls it back to Lewington. Lewington square towards the edge of the penalty area. They could have room to shoot. Law gets in there. The Dons just managed to keep hold of the ball, and it's picked up on the far side by Russell Martin. Martin swings the ball in towards the edge of the box, headed away by Exeter. Drops into the centre circle. The Dons have it. Cargill just jinks past Holmes, tries to get past Taylor but couldn't do so. Taylor did well to win the ball, but then sadly stumbled, and the ball ran away from his feet and went out for a throw, which the Dons take quickly. Lewington overcomes the cross into the penalty area. That's a good header by Aneke, and Pym had to stretch down to his bottom left hand corner to make the save.
Yeah, it's kind of happening what you feared at half time that might happen, that MK Dons, change something, and they certainly have. They're kind of the shoes on the other foot, as you say. They're doing exactly what Exeter did in the first half by shutting Exeter down, and having more joy by having that tempo as well. They're being more meaningful in their play, and they certainly have the ascendancy at the moment. But you kind of hope that Exeter, once they settle down, start getting on the ball like they are now, playing it out wide to Sweeney.
Ball is played wide. Holmes on this right hand side going up against Lewington. Holmes with a step over, keeps hold of the ball as Lewington blocks his initial attempt to get the ball over. Back to Sweeney. Sweeney takes one touch, takes a second, back heels it into Holmes. Pitch looking a bit bobbly now. Holmes again trying some tricks. In the end has to release it just off to Nicky Law. Law tries to find the gap, didn't quite find it. We'll have a second stab at this. Law, right hand side, looking for the space to get the cross over. It's blocked away. Throw into Exeter down near the corner flag.
I think the assistant referee has given it to the MK Dons way. It looks as though it was an Exeter throw from here, but he's given it the other way, so it must have just taken a final ricochet off Nicky Law there.
In comes the throw. It's chested down. It's cleared by Lewington. Up towards the halfway line. Up they jump for it. Headed straight back by Exeter. Sweeney goes in for it. It's an MK Dons player on the end of it though as they launch it back into the Exeter half. It drops down. Moxie pushes it to the left towards Woodman. Woodman takes it over the halfway line. Chips up over the top looking for Fort. Fort on the edge of the penalty area. Just couldn't quite control it. The Dons knock it away. Taylor chests it down to Woodman inside the MK Dons half over on the left hand side. Woodman looking around, looking to get the ball up over the top, but it's blocked. The Dons have it back, and the Dons tried to clear, but then it just comes off an Exeter player and goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that might seem really basic what Jake Taylor has done there, but he's shut down, and that sort of shutting down, that commitment does transcend into the stands, and that gets the fans going again, which will then get all the players going again. So those basics, if Exeter get those basics right in the next sort of 5-10 minutes, that'll be really important for the rest of the game.
Exeter header back into the Dons half off that goalkeeper's kick. Holmes tried to squeeze it through to Fort, couldn't quite do so. Now the Dons will try and knock it up the field quickly. Dara O'Shea headed away. The Dons send it straight back, but it's going out for a throw-in. 52 minutes gone. Exeter 2, MK Dons 1. And Exeter will have a throw-in on this near side. Just taking a moment, looking around. Not a lot of movement at the moment though. As the ball comes in on this right side, Fort goes down, referee's not having any of it. Throw in MK Dons. Lewington will get the throw. Lewington. He has Harley in front of him. He has Gilby there as well. Takes a moment. He's looking around though. They're all marked up. The ball comes forward towards Aneke, but Exeter clear. Cargill for the Dons. In goes Holmes to try and clear. Cleared second time though by Exeter. Long clearance back deep into the MK Dons half. As Walsh, the goal scorer, goes back to collect it. He plays it back to his keeper. Fort is chasing in. And again, it's from a Dons perspective, you're thinking, we don't need any of that. Now Martin picks it up for Exeter, does well, finds Law in the middle of the park. Law sends it to the left, finds Woodman. As Exeter now start to move their players forward in waves, Woodman looks to slot it through for Law inside the box. Law tried to get the quick cross into Fort along the ground, but it was blocked by Shins, and in the end it's cleared away by the Dons again. It's back into the Exeter half, up they jump for it. It came off Moxie, it's flicked forward and Neke will chase for it, but it will be clattered away by Exeter by O'Shea. It drops down and the Dons have it in their own half this time. In goes Holmes though with a nice shoulder barge to win it off Cargill, and he sends a beautiful diagonal ball right across the pitch to Lee Martin, who has room down by the corner of the penalty area. Martin runs into the box, shoots and flashes the ball across the face of goal.
Again, it's those two players there, Lee Holmes, Lee Martin, linking up. Best part of 50-60 yard ball there. Great play initially by shutting the ball down. Lee Holmes getting the ball, working it on his left foot from this right hand side, putting a fantastic ball out to Lee Martin, who gave an opportunity at one-on-one against the MK Dons fullback, but unfortunately dragged his shot slightly wide. But again, that's all from really hard work, committed play from Lee Holmes to win the ball back.
Now, while all that was going on, there was a substitution by the MK Dons. Ryan Harley went off to lots of boos, and on came Jake Hesketh, who is the new signing on loan this week from Southampton. He spent a lot of the season at Burton Albion playing this season, but he's just signed on loan for the Dons. So it's getting spicy now.
Yeah, I think they've just given a foul away. MK Dons just down below us on the right hand side of us here for Lee Holmes. Dangerous play again from Lee Holmes, getting the ball fantastically positive. They've given the foul away in a dangerous position here.
Law and Holmes stand over the ball. It's out wide, but the Dons have put a two-man wall up on the corner of the penalty area. Law, Holmes initially runs, Holmes swings it in. It's short though and easily headed away by the Dons, but they make a bit of a mess of it second time, and Holmes gets it back, although then he lost his balance and the ball ran away from his foot and it goes out for an MK Dons throw. 55 minutes gone. Exeter City 2, MK Dons 1. And the ball is sent from one side of the pitch to the other, and it's knocked inside to Houghton. Houghton, neat turn there past Jake Taylor, sends the ball diagonally out towards Lewington. There's also a run being made by Hesketh on the left. He'll receive the ball for the first time, coming on as a sub, sends it in low. Oh, it's parried away by Pym, he couldn't hold on to it. Lewington back out to Hesketh on this left hand side. He'll knock it down the channel. In comes the ball low into the penalty area towards a Neke, pushed away by Exeter, still not properly away though. Great challenge by Lee Holmes to win the ball, and Holmes pushes it up the right. And well, again, I'm watching the ball that's in the other direction up here. There was obviously an altercation going down by the corner of the penalty area. What happened? Did you see it?
Well, Lee Holmes, he made a great tackle, got the ball on his left hand side, played the ball down the line, and I think it was Cargill in the end, Bailey Cargill, 26, who just came in a little bit late on Lee Holmes. To be fair to Lee Holmes, he got up pretty quickly. I don't think it was a bad challenge, more of a kind of cynical pull of the shirt. They've got the foul. The referee, to be fair to him, has given him a booking, and rightly so. And then we can continue with this game. An interesting game now, because things have completely turned on their head, haven't they? It's MK Dons have got the ascendancy. It's MK Dons who are getting on the ball and working out these wide areas, and going forward are becoming more of a threat.
I'm just looking at my stats here, and Cargill's got form. He's the most booked player on their team on the pitch at the moment, with 7 yellow cards this season. And MK Dons will clear their lines. It's back up into the Exeter half. Offside against Neke. Hands out. Come on, Gov. I wasn't.
I think it was actually David Wheeler was just coming back off an offside position, because what they're doing now, MK Dons, whenever they get the ball in these wide areas, the deep wide areas, I can hear Steve Perriman. I was talking about whether he's here. He's actually down below us shouting out David diagonal. And that's David Wheeler on that diagonal. They're looking for his aerial ability to play that diagonal and picking up the second pieces. So they've really changed their tactics in this second half.
Ball is played in, and Neke, this is dangerous. He's tussling away to try and find some room. He's got into the penalty box, but Woodman's there as the last man back, and Archie Collins has had to go in as well. Archie Collins managed to get the ball away from his feet. The referee's given the foul, but that was dangerous. And Neke almost had the chance to pull the trigger in front of goal there, but Exeter managed to get enough feet around the ball the two defenders to stop him from being actually able to get that shot away.
Yeah, again, it's from Dave Wheeler. The ball was up to him. He's flicked it on to Anike, and that's what they're starting to do now. They're getting players closer to Anike. In David Wheeler flicking it on, and Anike using his kind of his strength and his pace in behind the Exeter back four there. But Craig Woodman, fortunately, was in the right place. Took a bit of a difficult bounce. It's difficult to deal with, but Archie Collins then coming in from that sitting midfield area to go and mop up the pieces and got the foul.
Ball cleared by the Dons up towards the halfway line. Just making sure Exeter, as it was Lee Martin watching it over his shoulder, make sure it didn't squeeze through. Anyway, here's Lewington on this near side. He pulls it back to Cargill. Forward it goes, headed away by the Grecians, chested down by the Dons. And Houghton sends the ball diagonally over towards the corner of the penalty area on the far side. Woodman is with the Dons player though. In goes the challenge on the edge of the box. Handball by the MK Dons player. The referee decided that he couldn't get his hand out of the way in time, so he didn't give anything. And he hadn't attempted to play the ball. And it's down the other end now with the Dons just knocking the ball around. And it's landed with Joe Walsh. Do you know, I hadn't given Steve Perriman much thought, but I suddenly heard his voice then, just as you mentioned him. I hadn't seen him, I just heard him. It's one of those old familiar sounds, like a memory.
It certainly is, especially here at home at St James's Park for years. You kind of got used to that scream.
Now, here's Hesketh out towards the left-hand side. It's dropped back. Lewington across the park. Manages to pick out Russell Martin, and he sends the ball up towards the edge of the penalty box. It dropped through, but David Wheeler couldn't get the touch he wanted. I think a little bit of confusion between him and Aneke, and the ball has gone away. Yeah,
that's what happens when Dave Wheeler's come out and they're looking for the diag, but because he's been on the right hand side and Aneke on this left hand side, David Wheeler's kind of occupied the same space as Aneke. It was a great delivery in. It was a really good diagonal ball with quality. It's just that David Wheeler has been brought over into that area when he should have really have stayed in his right hand side and kind of gone off the second piece from Aneke.
29 minutes remaining. Exeter 2, MK Dons 1. And Pym will take a goal kick for the Grecians, and big long clearance into the MK Dons half. Ball is around the halfway line. Nicky Law pushes it forward to Fort. Fort tussling hard to keep the defender off him. Did well to keep possession, Paul. And it squeezes through. Law couldn't quite hold on to it. Cleared by the Dons up into the Exeter half, and Nikke trying to just push it over to the right, but Exeter across it, and Moxie just watches it back to Pym, and the goalkeeper picks it up. Pym just takes a while. The bright sunlight in the MK Dons half, shadow in the Exeter half. As the ball is up in the air as they tussle for it, and it bobbles around between shins. It's fallen loose to Holmes on this right hand side. Holmes down by the side of the penalty area, sends his cross in, up they jump, ball comes down, Dons get it away second time. I think Sweeney was hoping he was going to go for the short ball as Sweeney was running in, but in the end decided to go for the cross. Exeter, Archie Collins has just had a foul given against him as he was battling away with Hesketh, and I don't think the Exeter fans were very happy with the referee's decision in the end there. I have to say I wasn't too sure about that one. Throw in Dons down near that corner flag. It comes in quickly to Lewington. Up onto Hesketh. Hesketh foot on the ball, trying to squeeze it past. Overcomes the low cross in, but in the end it's a clearance by Exeter, by O'Shea. Lewington again. Lewington will bring the ball towards the corner of the penalty area. It goes out wide. It's gone out of play. Lewington, who, when you think back to all of what was said about Wimbledon, the old Wimbledon, and the MK Dons and what happened there, of course Lewington is an original Wimbledon trainee who has gone all the way through and is still with the side. So ball comes down, and it's back in the MK Dons half, but they'll get a throw. Walsh. No, he'll leave it for Cargill, who will leave it for Lewington. Cargill chips it forwards, chested down by Moxie. and Moxie clears it back into the Dons half, headed back by Cargill, brought down by Lewington. In goes the foot of Jake Taylor. Free kick, because Lewington had his foot up. He's not very happy with the referee's decision.
Yeah, I think he's fortunate there. Jake Taylor's fortunate there, because Jake Taylor has gone up with kind of stud showing in a stamping motion down against Lewington, who's actually caught Lewington. So I think Jake Taylor's very, very fortunate there. I'm surprised that the referee's given it the opposite way. Yeah. You can see from Lewington that he's baffled. You can see that MK Dons' touchline staff are not very pleased with that at all. But I guess you can only put that down to the referee's position and how where he saw it from. So Jake Taylor's very fortunate there.
Yep. Totally agree. I was a little bit surprised, and Lewington baffled. As you say, baffled. You can see it in his face. It's quite close to where we are. Long ball forward, headed away. Lewington again, blocked as he tried to clear. The ball comes down. Where will it land? In goes Collins. Lewington clears up to Aneke, and they push it out to the right. This is a good move forward by the Dons. They're getting bodies forward in the shape of Ryan Watson to Gilby with a bit of space on this left-hand side. Gilby coming in, tried to slip it through to Aneke, but it didn't quite work. And in the end, Sweeney, who does a great ball to find Fort up the other end of the pitch. Fort brings the ball inside. He's got no support. He's on his own, but he's kept his run going. He shoots! But unfortunately for Fort, it's at the body of the goalkeeper, so he doesn't have much trouble to take it, but it counts as an on-target shot.
There's a great clearance there with quality by Pierce Sweeney to actually put him through in the first place, but this is better. The crowd are getting up again. It's exactly what needed to have happened. MK Dons have had the ascendancy, but now the crowd are up.
Fort knocks it wide to the left-hand side. If Lee Martin can keep it in play, yes he can. Martin has it down by the side of the penalty area, draws it back to Nicky Law. Law puts his foot on the ball, looks around, looks for his options. In the end, just pushes it to Woodman, back to Law. Law, they perhaps took a little bit too long there, Exeter, and they've got it back though, although the MK Dons have just pushed them back a little bit because they managed to interfere with the little passes and the pauses as they were looking around for their options. Woodman for Exeter. Woodman inside to Law. Law intercepted though by the Dons. They'll have the ball back and they will launch the ball back up towards Aneke. They found him quickly. He drops it off and picks up Hesketh. Houghton, it goes wide. Ryan Watson back inside to Jordan Houghton again. Houghton back out to Watson, out on the touchline as they're moving the ball. They're creeping up the pitch with it. MK Dons. In comes the diagonal ball aimed towards Aneke, but he did shove. He shoved a defender in the back, didn't proper.
Well, it was actually really good defending there by Pierce Sweeney, right back. He just got the right side of Aneke, anticipated it really well, felt a little nudge in the back, made the most of it. Of course he did. But the important thing there that he was the right side of Aneke, inside those the goal post where he should have been, and that's what enabled him to get the foul against him.
Ball's out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. Lewington is going to take the throw. There was, while all that was going on, I think there's going to be a substitution in a minute. The ball is played up down the left-hand side. Dean Moxie has cleared it away for Exeter.
It looks like Kane Wilson's just getting ready to come on. It wouldn't surprise me if he came on with someone like Lee Holmes. Gets to this stage of the game and he normally gets kind of substituted off.
So, Lewington near the penalty area, pushes the ball up to Hesketh. Hesketh does well to hold on to it, sends the cross in. There's the header from Aneke, but again into the body of Pym, but it was a good move.
Yeah, that was good play there by the lad who's just come on for MK Dons in Jake Hesketh. Worked the ball really well, got the little dink in for Aneke to get ahead on it, but he had to generate most of the power himself because it was just a little dink in, and fortunately it was straight at the feet of Exeter's goalkeeper, Christy Pym.
Here comes Jake Taylor, he's found some room, Taylor shoots! In the end he got it on his left foot, but he couldn't quite get the power, and it was towards the goalkeeper Nichols. Here come the Dons, as they lift the ball up over the top. It's chested down, Aneke. He's found Gilby. Gilby going up against Woodman. Gilby going to the right. Gilby tries to chuck it back into the middle, and there was the header by Hesketh, but it's just over the bar.
Yeah, I think O'Shea there defended superbly well. He can see the threat of the MK Dons player coming in behind him. He got touched tight. Didn't get anything on it, O'Shea, but he did enough to get his body there and get his arm across MK Dons forward. Good defending in the end.
And just as you predicted, Lee Holmes is coming off, and Kane Wilson, the loanee from West Bromwich Albion, is coming on for his third appearance this season for Exeter.
Yeah, he often gets to this stage in the game and he does look a bit leggy. It's because, you know, so much play does go through Lee Holmes, and he puts in a lot of work defensively. He's a very selfless player defensively, works hard for the team. And I think that's just this substitution is a byproduct of how much work he has put in, especially in that first half.
Woodman flicks it up. Fort heads the ball up into the air. The Dons try to knock it back at Exeter City. The ball comes down and just beaten away from Archie Collins. The ball is Exeter charge in and launch the ball long, and it's straight through to the goalkeeper at the other end. We have just over 20 minutes remaining in this match. Exeter 2, MK Dons 1. You're listening to it on BBC Radio Devon. You're also listening to it on the Exeter iFollow system. As the ball is cleared upfield, and it goes out of play. It'll be a throw. And I think we could be in for another substitution in a minute. It looks like Ryan Bowman's getting himself ready.
Yeah, I think he possibly come on for Fort up front, maybe. Or either Nicky Law coming off, or Lee Martin maybe going at 2 up there. It would surprise me if Fort comes off, because he's also worked extremely hard in this game.
So, ball is down that left channel, and Aneke will chase, but O'Shea will get there first, and there was a well thought out run there by David Wheeler to put the keeper under pressure, but Exeter did get it away. He's coming in on the diagonal. Probably O'Shea didn't see he was there as he was looking to put the ball back. Now Walsh took too long. Nicky Law's got in there. The ball's going towards the goal, and Nicky Law has made it 3-1. A mistake at the back by the MK Dons. Nicky Law got into the gap, and he got there for his second goal of the game. It's Exeter City 3, MK Dons 1.
That goal has just come from taking a chance, working hard, anticipating, taking a chance that something might happen, a mistake might happen, because Nicky Law by right should never have ever got a chance there. The ball was in between the goalkeeper and the centre half. The centre half was expecting the goalkeeper to come out. The goalkeeper was expecting the centre half to deal with it, and in that time Nicky Law didn't ever give it up, and he got his just rewards for that honest hard work. But that mix-up just nicked in between the two, poked it past them. The ball trickling towards the goal. Nicky Shaw making sure that that's gone over the goal line to make it 3-1, and Nicky Law having a new lease of life in that centre midfield area. Like I said, being put in that central area where he really does thrive, and he's got such great timing of his run, and he works really, really hard, and got a fantastic goal there in the end.
Well, this really is a match of surprises, because as you're watching this game and sensing, well, here comes Jonathan Fort. Just break off for a minute, because Fort is now darting through. Fort has been pulled back very cynically. That's got to be a booking, as he was trying to burst into the box. MK Dons now, that has rocked them. Yellow card.
Well, it's a mistake like that, it's going to rock you. Exeter taking advantage of that, working hard. It was actually Craig Woodman that anticipated the ball really well, read the ball really, really well, and nicked in front of his player, that gave the ball to Fort in the end, who was jinxed past one player, then got the tug of the shirt. Cynical foul, giving Exeter a really good opportunity here. What's this, 10-15 yards outside the 18-yard box, just slightly left of the goal from where we're sitting. Given a great opportunity here for either Nicky Law or Lee Martin to have a strike on a goal.
So it's Law at the moment. There's going to be there's not a shot. The ball is dinked out to Woodman on the left. He tried to get a low cross in, but it's gone out for a throw down near the corner flag. I was trying to say before Fort got in there that this really is a game of surprises. You sensed that this was going to be about the MK Dons pushing and trying to get an equaliser, but then suddenly a mistake, and Nicky Law has done so well, and now it's going to Exeter again back on the ascendancy. In comes the ball. It's to Woodman out on that far side. Through Nicky Law, he's found space inside the box, he's clawed it back but just couldn't quite find the feet of Fort.
Yeah, I think it's the wrong decision there. I think he needed to really drive that across the face of the goal there.
Ball is coming in then, Martin, Fort tries to turn and shoot, he's still in there tussling away, couldn't quite get the shot away. Here comes Woodman of Exeter, Woodman to Law, Law pulls it back, Woodman turns and faces Woodman, sends the ball the other way this time. Nicky Law to Woodman. Woodman, Law again. Just the two of them had the ball for quite a bit there, just passing it between the two of them. Then it goes out to the far side. Gentle pass in. Lee Martin. Challenge initially coming in from Aneke. He's gone down. The referee says it's okay, and the Dons try and put it up the right channel.
It's incredible, you know, they're back to showing that same, you know, the confidence that they had in that first half and getting on the ball, you know, just from one mistake. Football sometimes does really amaze me in the confidence levels that players do kind of get and lose within, you know, the space of a few minutes.
Sure, that was some reception that Wheeler got there for going off. He's just gone off and Stephen Walker has come on, but the fans really disapproving of David Wheeler. I know on Radio Devon they had that little poll as to who would get the most frosty reception, but there I sensed it was David Wheeler. The Exeter fans really not happy with him.
I think it's more of a pantomime, isn't it? I think if they asked all the fans what they thought of Dave Wheeler really, and I think they'd get a really positive response because he was a good servant for the club.
It's good challenge. Exeter have won it back again. Here's Lee Martin. He's thinking about shooting, decides to hit it, and it's gone over the bar. I think Fort is probably a little bit frustrated because he probably felt that he was in a good position, as was Kane Wilson, but in the end the decision was to shoot. But at the moment, it's certainly Exeter being 3-1 up now. It's taken the sting out of the Dons, because you did feel that they were pushing and looking for that equaliser, but then suddenly a mistake. And the FA Vars, it's Willand 3, Deeping 2. Dean Stamp with the goal for Willand. In comes a long throw on this right hand side. It goes out of play, and it will be another throw to Exeter City. 14 minutes to go.
You do kind of feel that the chance that MK Don had of getting back into this game has kind of been and gone. You know, I hope I don't have to eat my words, but it just seems with the crowd again there, up for it again. Exeter players have got that kind of spring in their step again like they did in the first half, and you kind of fear for MK Dons that their time's kind of passed.
Here's Law, he's looking to pull the trigger. Law shoots! Oh, do you know what? He was fingertips away from a hat-trick there. A great save from Nichols to tip it round the post. Law, you could see he's thinking it. This is my hat-trick, and he was so close. He's
certainly been the best player I feel for Exeter today. And there's been some fantastic performances, but he just seems to have had a new lease of life in that position, that centre position, giving that extra responsibility, getting more involved in most play that Exeter have had today. He worked that ball superbly well with his feet there. He was on his left hand side and then kind of dinked on his right hand side, and you've got to give credit to the keeper. It was a really good save in the end.
It was right in the corner, and I'm sure in his heart Nicky Law's cursing because he thought that's my hat trick, but the keeper did very well there. Law to Woodman. Woodman pulls it back and finds Moxie on the halfway line. Up towards Woodman again. Chip forward by Exeter. Dons try to knock it back up over the top again. Headed forward by Exeter again. Woodman will bring it down on his knees. Does well to claw it back to Jake Taylor. Flicked up, looking for Fort out on the left, but couldn't quite reach him. Cleared away once again by the Dons. Ball comes down, rolled off the body. Fort has suddenly picked up off a loose ball down by the side of the penalty area. Fort is running in, he's looking for someone to pull it back to. Fort just holds it up for a second, finds Nicky Law. Law turns to his left, turns to his right, pulls it back. Who's going to have a go? Does Martin try to hit it? It's blocked. Jake Taylor pushes it out towards the left. Woodman out towards Nicky Law, down by the side of the penalty area. Law again, he's going to look left. Gets to the byline, takes two defenders with him, pulls it back, looks for Woodman, who's got a bit more room just further behind the penalty area. Out towards that left-hand side again. The Grecians still passing the ball around, looking for the opportunity to get a strike on goal. In the end, the Dons just knock it out. It will be a throw.
Yeah, there's good play there by Nicky Law, Lee Martin, the triangle between those two and Craig Woodman. They're keeping the ball, they're not forcing any play, they're trying to move the defenders. MK Dons have kept their shape pretty well, but they've been nice and patient. They don't need to go for that fourth goal, they need to keep possession.
Now, what's going to happen here? Martin, caught side of the penalty area. Martin draws it back towards Woodman. And they still have it. And the ball is coming in. Do you know, we'll have one listener, Pat, who'll be cursing you for that last comment, because Roger Kendall puts, I think, £10 on 4-1 every single week. And every time he gets it, it's a really big payout. So he'll be disagreeing with you. Here's Kane Wilson, pulls it back in towards Sweeney. Sweeney just trying to get down to the right, but it's going to be out for a throw.
I think if we think of the bigger picture here, John, I think the 3 points are more important. If he's got a problem, I'll pay the money to him myself. Let's get this.
Now, I'll tell you, it's big payouts. You must be a rich man.
Oh, I can imagine.
But anyway, Plymouth Albion full-time. Plymouth Albion 21, Cinderford 10 in the rugby.
I was talking about giving his bet back, not the actual winnings.
Yeah. So here's Wilson flicking it forward. Collins headed away by the Dons, and a big cheer as the ball goes out of play. And I tend to agree with what you said earlier, Pat. I think you tend to think the heart has gone out of this Dons side now, as Exeter now are just pushing on and potentially looking maybe for a fourth. But thinking about the fact that they're level on points, the Dons have quite a big goal difference on Exeter. So another goal here today, double them up, is important in some senses. But here's a Neke, and good one back by Wilson for Exeter. He finds Woodman in towards O'Shea. O'Shea launches it forward, it's blocked. Here's Law again, out to Fort, out on that left hand side. Fort coming in on the diagonal on the penalty area, tries to get his crossover, it's just blocked down away, and the MK Dons clear. O'Shea gets onto the loose ball, then to Taylor. Collins spreads it left towards Woodman side on the left hand side, in towards Fort with room, comes in towards the corner of the penalty area on that left hand side, just drops it off again, back to Woodman along the grounds. Looking for Nicky Law, but he just couldn't quite pull it back, and the Dons pick up the loose ball. Taylor just trying to stop Gilby as he skipped away from him, and he sends it forward. O'Shea intercepts. O'Shea, Moxie, big kick down on the left side, blocked by the Dons, comes back to Moxie. Woodman touches it down to Archie Collins, the ball's up in the sky, but it's gone away down into that railway corner, and it's out for a throw. So over on that far side then, throw into the Dons, just inside the extra half, ball launched high, looking towards a Neke. He's brought it down, but offside against him. 8 minutes to go. Exeter 3, MK Dons 1.
Despite giving the goal away, a cheap goal, despite MK Dons having a good sort of 10-15 minute spell in this game, Exeter certainly deserved to be winning this game. And I think as a back four as well, been really impressive Exeter. In particular, Dara O'Shea is getting better and better. Every game I see him play, he's dominating. You know, he's playing against a very, very good player in Anike up there for MK Dons, and he's absolutely dominated, in my opinion, dominated him today. And for a player at such a young age to show that maturity and dominating more experienced, stronger players, I think he's been outstanding.
Long ball downfield. Fort, can it drop to Martin? Not quite, as they scoop it out, the Dons. Archie Collins gets in there, wins the ball for the Grecians. In fact, he was fouled. It's going to be a free kick about 15 yards inside the MK Dons half. And to be fair, I mean, Exeter have had some very good business out of the loanees from West Bromwich Albion.
They certainly have, yeah. I mean, I guess it helps being not too far away. It's straight up the M5. And yeah, they've signed some very, very good players. Kane Wilson obviously coming back. He's another good player. But they seem in the last sort of 2, 3, 4 years have seemed to have found some kind of rough diamond centre halves, haven't they? That they've nurtured and they've improved and then sent on to bigger things.
Woodman sends the ball in towards Fort, just drops away from him, headed away by the Dons. In charges Jake Taylor to win it on the right hand side. He's down by the side of the penalty area, lays it off to Martin, back to Taylor again. They got caught up in a bit of a crowd there, although the Dons go to clear. Now I tell you something, there was a mistake by the Dons and Lee Martin was charging in. There was a nudge, he went down in the penalty area. I think the referee just didn't see.
I don't think there was too much in it. It was more of a shoulder barge, and Lee Martin did make a big deal out of it. I mean, you have seen silly things like that given by softer referees, but I think that was the right decision. It wasn't totally obvious. They're 3-1 up. I think it would have been really harsh to have given it. But I mean, Exeter had a point. There was contact there, but is it enough? I'm not too sure.
Throw in on the far side. This game really has had loads. It's had so much. It's been a fantastic match to watch this. And if you're listening at home or in the car or whatever, I hope you've enjoyed it. But I would say it's a shame you didn't come, because this has been really, really good. And at the moment, here's Cargill for the Dons. Oh, intercepted by Taylor. Now Exeter have got a break on again. Fort on this right hand side, coming in on the diagonal. Law is charging in as well. Fort, he goes to his right. In the end, he just ran into a bit of trouble and couldn't quite find space. Be fair to the Dons, they got their bodies back, and although Law was probably screaming for it in the penalty area, just couldn't get the ball through. Now the Dons on the other side. Ball clear.
Good play there by Sweeney. Came right across in the sense that danger. Went out of position into that centre half area and got a good clearance in the end, but Fort just then, you can see that was a tired kind of effort towards the end. His legs went slightly there because he has really put a shift in. He's been the one at the front, the foremost of setting those triggers off and shutting MK Dons down at the back there.
Ball comes down and it's flicked up over by Wilson. You kind of hope for Fort that he'd get a goal today, because he does deserve something, even though it
does deserve it. And I think Bowman was getting ready to come on earlier, and I think they changed their mind because Fort, just for that reason, because he does deserve to stay on and try and get a goal.
Here come the Dons on the left hand side then, and a little bit of trickery as they look to try and get the ball back in, but again they don't quite get the cross they're looking for, and it's cleared up to the halfway line. Dons have it in the shape of Walsh. Walsh to Martin. Martin just pulls it to the side. 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes remaining of normal time. Exeter 3, MK Dons 1. Gilby pulls it back to Cargill. Forward it goes. On this right hand side, Gilby makes a good run, but he's still got Wilson with him. Draws it in towards Lewington. Lewington side of the penalty area. In comes the cross, headed away by Exeter. Nicky Law spins it over to Archie Collins, and the second time Collins gets it up to Fort. Fort brings it down beautifully. He's been fouled. The referee has said play on. I mean, the problem there, I'll tell you what the problem there was. Nicky Law had room, but there was a wall of MK Dons players between him and the goal, and Law's kind of thinking, I'm not going to get anywhere through that lot. Are you going to help? And then he looked at the referee, so he's given the free kick. The ref wanted to play the advantage.
Yeah, I think I don't often praise referees. I think that was good refereeing. He did give them the benefit of the doubt, and Exeter had the ball. He tried to play the advantage. I think Nicky Law was thinking, well, like you said, there's a wall of MK Don players. I don't really want to continue with this. So he kind of stood there, and the referee, to be fair to him, brought him back. But I'm not sure whether the player was booked for that tackle on Fort there, because he went right through the back of him. But Fort has put an absolutely fantastic shift in today. He's worked very, very hard. Probably the best I've seen him play since I've been watching him. And there's deservedly getting brought off for a rest.
Yeah, Ryan Bowman comes on. Fort goes off. Now we've got another former City player coming to the pitch now. Coming off is Jordan Houghton, and coming on is Lawson Datt. as we said earlier, had a short spell with Exeter in 2013. Late goal for Plymouth Argyle. It's Peterborough 0, Plymouth Argyle 1 up at London Road. As MK Dons launch a huge clearance back into the Exeter half. Pym comes out of his penalty area to launch it away. Ruben Ramirez with a goal for Argyle. Now up over the top, Nicky Law will chase if the ball stays in play. Yes, it does. He has it down by the corner flag. Exeter trying to get bodies in there. Bowman's waiting in the middle. The ball is just drawn back to Martin. Martin to Law. In towards Woodman. Law. Nicky Law to Woodman on the corner of the penalty area. Back out to Law on that left-hand side. Woodman has made the overlapping run. If it's just overplayed slightly. Can't reach it before the ball gets to the byline. As we head to the last minute of the game.
I'm not sure Wood is the kind of correct player to be making those sort of runs, but fantastic play, you know, real still positive play. This late stage of the game, they're 3-1 up, they're still trying to create things. A lot of credit needs to be given to the players and the coaching staff of Exeter today, so I think they've been absolutely outstanding. Barring that 10-15 minute spell of MK Dons, which they're going to have, any away team, they're going to have some sort of spell. I think they've played superbly well today.
Sweeney takes the throw, it comes down. At the moment, Kane Wilson in the corner. He's being put under a lot of pressure by the two defenders. And in the end, it's gone out. And it's going to be a throw to the Dons. Martin had gone over to help him. But the Dons play it back to their keeper. And that's good. And again, you know, there's mistakes. They've got away with that. But Martin charging on the keeper and the ball hit him. Now it's gone away to the side. But they've had quite a bit of that, the Dons, at the back today. Woodman up over the top. Down it comes, and brought down by Kane Wilson, but he couldn't quite hold on to it as he wanted to. And Hesketh won the exchange. Diath tried to move down the left, but Sweeney's intercepted. The ball's up to the halfway line. 5 minutes of time allowed for stoppages in this second half. Bowman chases to put the defender under pressure, but Walsh, the goal scorer for the Dons, did well to scoop that over his shoulder and keep it away from Bowman. Good challenge from Jake Taylor. Again, Exeter doing what they did in the first half now, chasing everything down and making what is a rather despondent looking MK Dons defence fight for everything.
I think the difference being tactically, they've done this on purpose, they've worked on this, they're shutting down, but they just seem to be more hungry, don't they, today, I think.
Long clearance downfield. Up in the air it goes. Header away by Moxie, and it's out for a throw to the MK Dons. We've had almost a minute of the time allowed for stoppages. We've got 5 to be added. Darth sends in the diagonal ball. Aneke was charging in, but Pym was there first to snatch, and the goalkeeper will take a moment. Just telling his teammates to get upfield. Yeah,
it's just to wind the clock down, isn't it? To get those minutes ticking away. Long
ball downfield. Now Taylor to Woodman, just inside the MK Dons half. Woodman to Law. Law back to Woodman. Chipped forward. Defended away by Walsh. Out for an Exeter City throw on that far side. Throw in. Throw comes in and he finds Nicky Law for Exeter, midway inside the MK Dons half. Ball along the ground up towards Martin, to Woodman, back out to Martin on the far side. Ball is pulled back. Law kicks it forward. And in the end the loose ball drops and Sweeney thumps it high up into the sky. It will fall in behind the back line, and Bowman decides to chase it to put him under pressure. He's got the ball just on the side of the penalty. Again, Exeter, by battling, have won what should have been an easy MK defence's ball. He's taken it off them. Woodman out towards Law on the far side, in towards Martin, back out on the left side. Cheer every time with Exeter pass. Woodman, and that's exactly what they're doing, passing the ball around. Diagonal one out towards the right. Wilson couldn't quite keep it in play. In comes the throw, and the Dons on this left hand side send the ball along the ground. Dath back to Lewington, Lewington decides to push the ball into the middle of the pitch, and Walsh will send it over to the right for the Dons as they come forward. 2.5 minutes have gone, 3 minutes rather have gone of the 5. The Dons over on that far right hand side, tricky run this into the penalty area up against Dean Moxey. They still have the ball in the shape of Stephen Walker, the substitute, but Exeter just won it back. And now Taylor back to Woodman, big clearance, headed back by Gilby. The loose ball falls to Martin. His header though not quite so accurate, as Woodman had kind of run past the ball as he headed it back to him. Now, foul on Jake Taylor by Gilby. Exeter decided to take the advantage. Bowman is offside, pulls it back to Law. Well, I think Exeter will be disappointed with themselves up there, because they were in a great position. It was 2 on 3, but they just crept. I mean, to be fair, I guess the MK Dons defence, when under that pressure, to have one eye on the offside line is good work. Yeah,
I think that was more rather than good work by MK Dons. I think that was just an untimely pass by Nicky Law, and you can let him off because he's worked really hard. But it was a bit of a tired pass through to Bowman. He needed to release it a little bit sooner, but if I would have ref there, I would have just pulled it instantly back. I mean, from Exeter's point of view, you'd rather have had the foul and let the more tickets minutes die down and tick over, should I say.
Free kick to the Dons. This is about 15-20 yards outside the Exeter penalty area. They are putting up sort of a wall, two-man wall. Unlikely to shoot from there, I think. The ball is crossed into the box. Aneke gets his header, but it's straight towards Pym on the near post. 20 seconds left.
That's good defending again there when you're playing against players who are very good in the air. They've probably got slightly more of the advantage if they've got more of a run up against you. You're not always going to win the header, but the defenders did really well there to get their bodies on the line, put the bodies in the way, and taking that little bit of power, that little bit of sting from the headers of the MK Dons players.
There's the full-time whistle, and Exeter City walk away with a full 3 points this afternoon, and it means they go level on points with the MK Dons in the League 2 table. Exeter 3, MK Dons 1. Topsy-turvy game. First half, Exeter all over the Dons, 2-0 up by half-time. Then they get a quick goal back in the second half, and you felt it's the Dons pressing Exeter to hold on, but then a shocking mistake at the back by the Dons, let in Nicky Law, who took his chance, and Exeter City go away 3-1 winners, and thoroughly deserved, Pat.
Absolutely thoroughly deserved. They made their own luck. I think they set up superbly well by shutting the MK Dons defenders down. Whenever the keeper or the defenders got the ball, there was one or there was two or there was three players from Exeter's point of view shutting them down. So I think that was key today, the way they set up from a defensive point of view, because it enabled them to win the ball back, give the ball out to the creative players. I thought Lee Martin, I thought Lee Holmes, I thought especially Nicky Law were outstanding today. Jonathan Ford putting a magnificent shift in up there. And I thought Darosha at the back was superb as well.
Yeah, it's nothing but applause really for this side this afternoon. I mean, we'll put aside the rivalries with Paul Tisdale and how much the fans will love that. This was 3 really important points against a very good side, and Exeter today walk away with those points, and it really puts them in a prime position as they push for promotion. 3-1 Exeter.
Wake up to Gordon Sparks and Laura James.
Our man Richard Green, well, he's braving the elements, isn't he?
You say that. He's just tweeted me a picture of sausage and egg.
Now, there's sledges here. I might borrow one of those in a minute, because, you know, there is a bit of snow, and you did describe me as Eddie the Eagle. I'm trying to think of another pseudonym. Dickie the Daredevil.
Very good.
It's slippery out. Slippery
Stop
out here.
Somebody quit making